this project, you're going to need crayons, you're going to need a black Sharpie, and a pencil. We're going to start with the pencil. And we're going to get started, so make sure that you have your pencil ready, and here we go. I'm going to turn my paper this direction. This is called vertical. And I'm going to start at the bottom of my paper. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a sand line, wibbly wobbly, across the bottom of my paper, leaving some space so it's not touching the bottom. So I have a little bit of space to have some sand there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle of my sand, and I'm going to draw a line going up. This is the pole of my umbrella. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit so I can make a rainbow line. It's going to start here at the tippy top, and it's going to go out and come down. This is the start of my umbrella. Then I'm going to do it again on the other side. Try to make sure that they're pretty equal on both sides. The next thing I'm going to do is make the bottom part of my umbrella. So I'm going to make a line from one side to the other. And now I'm going to make some stripes. So I'm going to go over with this line. I'm going to curve it with the direction of the umbrella shape. And then I'm going to make another one. Then another one. And one more. Now on the bottom of each stripe, I'm actually going to make these little things that flap in the wind. And you go down from the line here and down from the line there and then straight across. Let's do that to each stripe. Down from the line there, down from the line there, and then straight across. Keep doing that until all your lines have a flap. I'm going to do this line right here, make a smaller flap, then come down right here and make a smaller flap. See how I did that? Because my pole is right there. And then I'm going to finish up the rest of my flaps. Down, down, come across. Down, down, come across. And then you've got all these cool little flaps. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my pole a little bit wider. And I'm going to start my lawn chairs. You're not going to see the whole lawn chair because the sand has kind of got like a hill, and the chairs are down at the bottom of the little sand hill and closer to the water. So I'm going to make a line kind of diagonal, and I'm going to skip a little space and make another line matching up with it, parallel. Parallel means they're not intersecting, but they're going the same direction. Now I'm going to make the bars that go to support the lawn chair. So 2 lines next to it, and close, and then that would be the top part of your chair, your beach chair. I'm going to do one just like that. Now on this side, so line, line. Try to make sure it's close, that they're almost the same width if you can. Close it off, then line, line for the metal part or the wooden part, right there. Okay. And then now I'm going to start making the horizon line. So I'm going to scooch my paper down so you guys can see the top part of my paper. And I'm going to make a wavy water line. Next, I'm going to make my sun, so a nice big circle in the sky. And I'm going to make some clouds. So my clouds, I'm going to start with a line, and then I'm going to build them up. A line, then build them up. can make them wherever you want. Okay, now comes the water. So I'm gonna make some ripples off in a distance. Just some wibbly wobbly lines. If you want to make them more wavy, you can. As they get closer to you, the ripples will be a little bit longer lines. You could put a dolphin in the ocean if you wanted to. Whatever you want to add detail-wise to your picture, you can. I'm going to add some stripes to my lawn chair to give it some pattern. You don't have to add these if you don't want to. Gives it a little bit more life. And if you want to add some other things like a water bottle or any other details, you could do that. I'm actually going to leave it as is. Maybe I'll make like a little sunscreen coming out of the sand.
Good morning.
I'm gonna add a little bitty top part to the umbrella there, and I was adding a sunscreen bottle here, and I'm going to make a little label for it. If you wanted to add a cooler, you could even add some beach blankets if you wanted to, or like the beach towels, I should say, like hanging out here. It's up to you, okay? I'm gonna Sharpie it, and when I Sharpie it, I'm gonna add some dots to my sand to kind of liven it up, give it some more texture, some more detail. A little specky. You could add some shells in there. You could add even a sandcastle up close in the foreground. Foreground's the front, background's the back, middle ground's in the middle. And I'm just going to Sharpie the whole thing. Get that done. Just so I can see all my details. Now, I don't always Sharpie all my artwork. If I want to keep it all pencil, or if I want to add shading, I won't Sharpie it. And if you miss some of your pencil lines, no big deal. You can go back and erase those pencil lines that you miss. I know on Art for Kids, they don't use pencil at all. They just go straight to the Sharpie. However, I believe that, we all make mistakes sometimes, and that it's a lot nicer if you can erase your mistakes. And I love the analogy of how God can erase our mistakes and He forgives us. So I try to, relate sometimes art to a biblical sense, because there's a lot of awesome things in art that do relate to God, and that's one of my favorites, is how He can erase our sins, because we all make mistakes. You'll see I have a lot of pencil marks left behind, but that's totally okay. I'm gonna go around it, and I'm gonna erase some of my pencil lines that I left behind so that I don't have them anymore. It kind of cleans up my picture, okay? I'm using my helper hand to hold my paper still. It's really important to use the other hand that you're not using. Use that one for holding down your paper and supporting it. A lot of people do this naturally, but some people don't. So I try to remind you guys to always use your helper hand. Otherwise, he's like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? Feels left out, right? Okay, so here we go. And now we can start coloring. Oops, I left one pencil line behind there. Gotta get him. And I'm just gonna randomly choose any colors I want for my picture. I'm gonna go ahead and add some color to my umbrella first. I don't know why I'm starting with my umbrella first, but I am. And since my sun is right there, that's my source of light. So I'm gonna actually add a little bit of a darker pressing, a little harder on this side, because this side is where the shadow would be. And it makes it come to life a little bit more, gives it some more dimension, makes it more interesting. Here you go, I'm gonna add a little bit more right here. Dark because my sun's over here, so the sun's gonna be coming down this way. Okay, and I'm gonna do a pattern here. So I think I'm going to use, let's see, maybe this color. You guys can use whatever colors you want. And here I go, pressing hard on the one side, giving it that little darkness where the light might not be hitting it as much. It's really important to know where your light source is coming from. The light source allows you to know where to put your shading and make sure that all of your entire picture, their shading is in the right spots, so to help it make it look more realistic. Okay, so there's my umbrella, and I'm gonna do some darker colors for my beach chairs. Get some red and white there. Okay, do a little pattern as well on my beach chairs, and I'm also going to come back and do the shading on my beach chairs as well. So I'm going to darken, pushing harder on my crayon, applying that pressure. Same with pencil, allows you to make your lines darker or your area darker. Okay, now I'm gonna get a brown. I'm gonna add some brown to my pole, even though a lot of poles are white. Mine is, my beach umbrella pole is white. I'm making them wooden. Okay, I'm gonna do my sun. Nice bright yellow. And I'm gonna do my sand a nice bright yellow too. I might even take a little bit of orange, kind of mix it in there a little bit, lightly, giving it a little bit more pop, different colors. You can even go over it again with yellow. Okay, and I'm gonna do my sand. Now I'm gonna turn my page, because this always helps me to turn my paper in a direction that allows me to color a little bit better. And even when I'm drawing, sometimes I turn my paper to better situate my hand. This allows for a better angle for drawing or coloring. Whoopsie, gotta use my helper hand. I'm gonna crinkle my paper. Okay, almost done. with my sand. Dun, dun, dun. All done. Okay, so I'm going to turn my paper back this way, and I'm going to do my beautiful blue sky. Let's see, what blue do I want to use? How about just a regular blue? I'm going to make that nice. And I'm turning my paper again to help with coloring. Carefully go around all my little objects here, my clouds, my sun. Try not to get it on my... Now, if you have this problem where it's hard to get the corners, I try to go, like, just go this direction and not come back, because when you come back, it actually peels up your paper. So when I'm close to the edge, sometimes I just go straight in the direction this way to keep the paper from folding. And then likewise, on the other side, I'll go this way only instead of back and forth motions. And I try to color all going the same direction. It gives a nice flowing motion to your picture rather than breaking it up in different directions. Okay, so there's my beautiful sky. Now for my ocean, I'm going to use a variety of colors. I'm going to use a blue, I'm going to use some greens, maybe even a lighter blue. So if you have the option to grab some other colors and mix them, that is what's going to make this water really come to life. So I'm actually going to take my color that I want my ocean to start a base color. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color the whole thing that base color. Well, then I'm gonna come in with my other colors and I'm gonna mix them in and add those colors to make it look more like the aqua color that I really wanna see for my ocean. Go one way, away from your paper, one direction, so it doesn't pull up. Okay, turning my paper, gonna go the other way. I'm doing a quick base color. Sometimes too, to help the paper from doing that is you can use painter's tape and you can tape off your edges. However, when you do that, it will leave a white line on your edges kind of framing out your picture, but that kind of looks really cool sometimes when you do that. So you could do that if you can't stand the paper bending and coming up when you're trying to color it, but remember too, you can't turn your paper once it's taped down, but I know a lot of artists do that. Okay, so now I'm going to add some other colors in here. I'm going to kind of go around my waves, give them some darkness here. I know there's like white caps on them, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of definition there, making them stand out. All this time that you're taking to do all these little details, they matter because they make your picture look even better and more interesting. So take the time to do the extra little steps to give your picture this pop and more realistic look. Even though it's just with crayons, crayons can be an amazing tool for art. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, and I'm gonna go to each wave and do that. Okay, now I'm actually going to add some, I think this is sea green, see? And I'm gonna put that everywhere. I'm just gonna run it all through my ocean here, giving it a nice ocean aqua-y color. I'm staying away from my edges. I'm gonna do those last. Just kind of all over color here. And here I go. I'm gonna do these little edges on last here. Okay. It's coming alive, guys. It's coming alive. I want to be there right now. That would be so much fun. Looking at that beautiful, beautiful scene that God makes for us every single day. What a beautiful gift He's given us. Nature. Okay. I actually might take a white oil pastel and add some white seed caps to it. So I'm just gonna add, before you start with an oil pastel, you need to make sure that it's clean first. If you have an oil pastel at home, if you don't have an oil pastel at home, you could still use a white crayon and add a little bit of dimension that way too. I'm gonna add some in my white. The only thing is it's kind of going over my Sharpie, and you can't go back over your Sharpie once you do oil pastel because it will ruin your. I'm just gonna put a little bit here and there, just a little dimension here and there. Kind of a crashing. Some little waves that are like crashing into the sand here. Just white caps. All right. So there you have it. Your beach scene. All right, guys, well, have fun. Enjoy arting, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. All right, I'll see you next time.